Here with Josh McCarthy, coach of the Boston Ironside team. Josh, it's a successful season so far, 37-0. This is your first year coaching. What's been working for you guys?
Well, I think we've had a very strong defensive line that's really put pressure on the other teams right from the get-go. We've oftentimes got up one or two breaks early, and that's really put the pressure on them rather than on us. I think subbing, we've really been playing our top lines early, trying to get that lead, and that's been very successful for us.
In Pool A, number 1 seed Boston's Ironside squared off against 9 seed Chicago Machine in white. In their only prior meeting of the season, Ironside defeated Machine 13-7 in pool play at the Chesapeake Open. And coming into the championships, the Boston Juggernaut was undefeated in the U.S. in 2010, holders of a 37-0 record under new coach Josh McCarthy. Ironside opened up a big lead early, taking half 8-2. In the second half, Ironside continued to look impenetrable as Misha Sidorsky finds Jacob Goldstein on the way to a 15-6 dismantling of Machine. In other first-round Pool A action, number 8 seed New York's Pony in black met up with number 16 seed Tenassi out of Tennessee. Pony was returning to Sarasota after not qualifying in 2009, while Tenassi secured the third bid out of the South region to punch their ticket to Sarasota for the first time. Here, Tenassi's Tyler Conger rips one down to bring the boys from the South within 4 late. Pony's experience would see them through as Chris Gore breaks open in the end zone to haul in the goal from Emilio Panasci. Pony over Tenassi, 15-10. In Pool C, Seattle Sockeye, the second seed out of the Northwest and 6th seed overall, faced Madison Club, the second seed out of the Central region and 14th seed overall. Sockeye, champion in 2004, 2006, and 2007 in white, looked young in 2010 with a small veteran core. Young leader Nate Casting cuts off the Madison Huck, fast breaks to the give and go, then lofts up a forehand to Frank Devin Barrich. Devin Barrich almost gives up position, but makes the play anyway for the 12-6 lead on the way to a 15-9 Sockeye victory. Also in Pool C, Austin's Double Wide, the 3 seed, locked horns with 11 seed Raleigh's Ring of Fire in white, in what promised to be round 1's most compelling matchup. Word on the street is that the Austin boys bought plane tickets home for Monday, hoping to be playing on Sunday, while Ring was upset at Mid-Atlantic Regionals and entered the tournament with a low seed. Both teams were hoping for a statement game. Double Wide capitalizes on early Ring mistakes as Kevin Richardson climbs the ladder over Tuba Benson Jaja. 7-5 Double Wide. But Ring of Fire, down 8-5 at half, would make a second half run to take a late lead, 12-11, as Josh Terrell hits Thomas Sayer McCord, putting Double Wide's tournament plans in jeopardy early. Much of the early talk about Double Wide is their pickup of Florida College star Brody Smith. For much of the game, Brody seemed to have license to move anywhere on the field at any speed, but was most effective with the disc in his hand, using his pinpoint throws. Brody puts Ring away with a hammer to Stephen Presley. Presley makes a nice grab over Josh Norris, and Double Wide is back on track, 15-13 DW. Second round, Pool B action. Philadelphia Southpaw strapped on the gloves against Johnny Bravo of Colorado. 7 seed Bravo, in red, found themselves in an earlier than expected must-win situation after being upset by the tourney's 15 seed Mad Cow in the first round. Southpaw, a new team that has aggregated much of the talent-rich Philadelphia area, looked to pile on to Bravo's bad start. Southpaw went punch for punch with Bravo as the two teams fought into overtime. Here, Bravo's Ryan Farrell plucked the disc out from a near D by Southpaw's Joel Wooten. Bravo goes on to win at the bell to even up their record at 1-1. The 2 seed encountered 15 seed Mad Cow from Columbus, who was a surprising 1-0 after a 15-13 upset of Bravo in round 1. Revolver, in blue, fresh off of a Club World Championship in Prague, had handled Southpaw in the first round 15-7. With both teams with wins, this match could likely determine the Pool B winner. Revolver unloaded early to a 7-2 lead. The second half saw more of the same, as Revolver showed why they are the favorite for many. Nick Schlag undresses Mad Cow Steve Schwab on a sharp undercut, and then finds Josh Wiseman separating from his defender for the game winner 15-7, and Revolver remains undefeated. In Pool D, San Diego Street Gang and DC's Truck Stop threw down in an effort to keep their power pool chances alive. 5 seed Truck Stop, in white, had lost to Furious George 15-12 in round 1, and were hoping for a repeat of their 15-10 victory over Street Gang at Emerald City Classic in August. They got it, 15-10 Truck Stop. The second round of Pool D also found 2 undefeated teams matched up. Atlanta's Chain Lightning, the defending champions and overall 4 seed, faced Vancouver's Furious George in white. Furious finished 3rd at Northwest Regionals, and as the 13th seed here, had upset 5 seed Truck Stop in the first round. All the buzz was about Furious's Japanese import, Masahiro Matsuno, and what kind of impact he would have. The impact would not be large enough to upset Chain. Fan favorite Dylan Tennell unleashes a pitch-perfect forehand to space to veteran John the Kid Hammond to lead the defending champions to 2-0, 15-12 Chain over Furious.
Chain's picked up a number of new players this season, including Sam CK, Kieran Thomas, and Julian Dahl. How have they impacted your team, and how have you incorporated them into what you do?
I think that what you said is exactly right. We tried to bring them into our offensive and our defensive systems as opposed to build around their skills, which I think we've been successful in. Sam CK and Kieran are both playing offense. They've added a lot of depth and danger to our O-line. Both those guys can play in a number of positions, and I think they make our possession game more dangerous. While even though they're great deep cutters, I think just having more weapons makes it harder for a team to cover all 7 of our guys out there. And then Julian's playing defense. What I love about him is he's very versatile. He can guard handlers, he can guard cutters, he can guard sky rippers, he can guard guys that are beating you with his throws. So I think we've used him in a number of spots, and he's been very successful in all those spots.
Cool. Well, congratulations on the win, and good luck.
Thanks, Kyle.
Round 3 featured the 1v2 matchups in the Open Division, and no 2 teams in the tournament know each other better than Boston's Ironside and New York's Pony. Boston versus New York. It's a rivalry as old as the cities themselves. And Boston has owned the rivalry for the past 16 years, including this year where Ironside took all 3 matchups, including a 15-10 victory in the semifinals of Northeast Regionals. In their 4th meeting of the season, it would be all Ironside. Here, Ironside works the reset reverse to score on the break side to Josh Marquette on the way to a 15-3 drubbing of their regional rivals. Speaking of teams that know each other well, Round 3 also found the Bay Area's Revolver sharing the pitch with Colorado's Johnny Bravo. Revolver's recent rise has been at the expense of the Colorado men, as playmakers Mac Taylor, Martin Cochran, and Bo Kittredge have moved from Bravo to Revolver. But in their one meeting this season, Bravo edged Revolver 14-13 at Labor Day. Here, the stakes are higher. The wind had picked up in Round 3 as Bravo's Jordan White comes up with the goal on the second effort, 6-4 Revolver. Revolver would continue to extend their lead in the second half as Mac Taylor pulls down a misthrown disc. Revolver wins the pool without a team scoring more than 10 on them and looks strong going into the power pools. 4 seed Chain Lightning rumbled into the 3rd round 2-0, while 5 seed Truck Stop was 1-1. But DC could still take the pool with a win by 4 or more. Truck Stop opened up a 14-10 lead, and the upset was in their hands before Chain scored and then got the break to Nick Lance to make it 14-12 and wrap up a spot in the power pool. Truck Stop would regain composure on the next point, and after working it across the field, Sean Keegan threw the game winner to Brian Stout. In Pool C, 2 2-0 teams matched up in the most anticipated Day 1 game. Austin's Double Wide outlasted Ring in Round 1 and rolled over Madison in Round 2, while Seattle's Sockeye in white had made short work of both of them. Double Wide gets a first half break as a deep Brody Smith pull sets up a Zach Briggins-Callahan, 7-5 DW. Sockeye was not yet ready to cede their status as a big fish. Ben Wiggins' flick hangs up for Frank Devin Barrich. Devin Barrich gets defender Patrick Eberly on his back and goes up strong to cut the lead to 1. But the boys from Austin withstood the late game pressure from the fish as Double Wide wins 15-13. DW earns its first 3-0 Thursday in Sarasota. We're here with Mike Natenberg of Double Wide. Mike, this is your first 3-0 day for Double Wide, going to Power Pools with a win. What did you guys do today that was so successful and worked well?
We got the job done. We really didn't play as clean as we wanted to today, and we had a lot of close games. So we had a really close game against Ring, as well as pretty close to Madison as well. So we were just kind of able to get enough today to win the 3. I think our deep game worked well today, and our D was playing pretty solid the whole day.
I'm here with Andrew Lugsden with Furious George. You guys came in 13th seed, and obviously you're in the power pools now. So how did your first day go?
Yeah, we were really happy with the first day. We won 2 of the games. We had a close one against Chain as well too, right to the very end. So we're here in the power pool, which is what our goal was. So 0-1 unfortunately to start, but we got 2 games today, so we're focused on today, but happy with yesterday.
How was Matsuno slipped into your lineup?
Yeah, in the first game we played him more on our D line, but then we had a couple of our O line guys go down in the second game, so we put him on the O line, and he really started to shine for us, especially in the Chain game. He had a number of great plays. You could see his sort of talent, really show through. So it's been a lot of fun playing with him. He's a super good guy, super nice guy, fun to hang around with. So a little bit of a language barrier there, but we're working through it, and it's been a good experience so far.
Power Pool F featured an all-Northwest matchup as Bay Area Revolver lined up across from Vancouver's Furious George. Furious at 13 was the lowest-seeded team to make the Power Pools, but with 3 titles in the last decade and ageless leader Andrew Lugsden, they are no strangers to this position. Furious looked strong early as they handled the increased wind well, as Oscar Pottinger targets Aaron Loach for the 6-4 lead. The 2 teams battled into the second half, trading breaks, and the Angry Monkeys held their own against the favored Revolver, and big pickup Bart Watson, who makes the grab here. While the game was tied as late as 11-all, Revolver would earn one final upwind break, convert the downwinder, and trade out to win 15-12. Revolver remains undefeated. The next Power Pool matchup featured 2 teams who had had unprecedented Day 1 success in Sarasota. New York's Pony went 2-1 in Pool A behind the explosive play of Joe Anderson, while Double Wide ran the table in Pool C behind the strong performance of Brody Smith and Steve Franchise Presley. The boys from New York kept the game close early. The second half would show that Double Wide is indeed a contender, as Jeff Loxcorn puts out a perfect lefty flick to streaking Chase Hudson, who reels it in, giving DW their first ever bye into quarters, 15-10 Double Wide. Ironside and Sockeye know all about playing in power pools. Sockeye was swimming upstream as they brought a Day 1 loss to Double Wide into the pool, while Ironside was still undefeated on the season at 40-0. Ironside would maintain that perfection behind great D-line handling in the wing by Brandon Muffin Malachek and Jacob Goldstein, while Colin Mahoney ruled the air, 15-10 Ironside. Pool F's match between Atlanta's Chain Lightning and Philly's Southpaw featured 2 squads who eked into the power pool at a 3-way tie. Defending champions Chain Lightning were hoping to bring the Thunder after looking less than championship caliber on Thursday. Dylan Tennell lays up a tough-to-read backhand to the speedy Kieran Thomas. Southpaw's John Fink makes a great play, but Thomas makes a stunning second effort for the score, on the way to the 15-11 Chain win. While the attention may be on the top seeds this round, the biggest games would determine who was in the quarters and who would have to battle another round in the Florida Heat. In Pool E, Sockeye strapped on their stirrups to ride with Pony. Would this game go down to the wire, or would one team open up the subbing in preparation for pre-quarters? Sockeye jumped out to a second-half lead despite Dan Heyman's pretty flicks for Pony. Pony struggled early in games this weekend, and while they managed to trade out in the second half, it would not be enough to slow Sockeye. Like salmon spawning, Sockeye would make an annual run at the championships. Andrew Fleming reels this Ben Wiggins backhand amidst 3 Pony defenders. 15-10 Sockeye. Pony faces truck stop in its pre-quarters. All year long, Revolver had been haunted by the memory of one game, last year's finals loss to Atlanta's Chain Lightning. The 2 teams had managed to avoid facing each other for a full year, and here Revolver was presented with an opportunity to avenge that loss that had provided so much motivation for the past 12 months, and secure the top seed from their power pool. As they say, sun's out, guns out, and Revolver's full arsenal was on display as they opened up a sizable lead in the second half despite Rob White and Chain's best efforts. As the game got out of hand, Chain began to rest their tweaky players, while Revolver reloaded. Mac the Monument Taylor bombs the forehand to Mark Sherwood, who beats Zip for the goal, and Revolver gets a satisfying win, going away 15-6. Southpaw and Furious were an unlikely power pool matchup. Southpaw, the 10th seed, and Furious, the 13th seed, both had fortunate first days. A quarterfinal spot was guaranteed to the winner, but the loser would likely face the dangerous Ring of Fire in the pre-quarterfinals. Philly's Southpaw capitalized on the Monkeys' exhaustion to run up a large second-half lead. Southpaw looks a lot like a sequel to the 2004 Pike team that made a run to the semifinals. Both teams are from the same area and share many key players, including Ian McClellan, who hit Sean Murray to deliver the final blow, 15-10. Furious drops to the pre-quarters to face the boys from North Carolina, and Southpaw flips out. Ironside Double Wide. the 1 seed versus the 3 seed. Boston still maintained an undefeated 2010 record, but Brody Smith and the Austin side looked to be Ironside's first real test of the tournament. But looks can be deceiving, as Ironside opened up an early lead. Doublewide's hand was forced as they sat key players through much of the game. Ironside, for their part, kept firing the heavy artillery, as George Stubbs gets an under, and then turns and fires his explosive forehand to Ryan Holmes. Holmes catches it in stride, and Ironside's winning streak was never in jeopardy. 15-7, Ironside.
Yeah, the wind picked up here today a little bit. Your D-line handlers, Brandon Malachek and Jacob Goldstein, were really solid out there. Tell me a little bit about their value and what they add to your team.
Without them, our D-line is not very much, to be honest. Jacob is always there for a reset, really good at keeping that disc moving, great break throws. And Brandon, who goes by Muffin, he has some bombs, some upwind bombs that I don't think anybody else has. And as a cutter, it's amazing to be able to feel like I can cut deep going into the wind, and he's going to still put it. And that puts a lot of pressure on the defense, knowing they have to worry about that deep ball, even when it's strong wind against us. So they have a huge impact on our defense's offense.
Congratulations, 42-0 on the season, I believe.
I haven't really thought much about that, but
pretty impressive. You got
sure.
3 more left.
Yeah, hopefully they turn out well.
Well, good luck. Keep it going.
Thank you.
After 5 rounds of pool play in sunny, hot Sarasota, Florida, we had now come down to single elimination bracket play. 2 storied franchises met to determine which would move on to quarters and which would go home. Raleigh's Ring of Fire and Vancouver's Furious George were perennial contenders in the early aughts, including a 2002 finals matchup, but more recently the teams have struggled to stay in the top tier. The winner here would have an opportunity to face off against tournament 1 seed Boston's Ironside in quarterfinals. Despite Furious' Matsuno's continued excellent play, including an assist here, Furious was outgunned early as Ring of Fire opened up an early lead. Furious appeared exhausted as Ring of Fire took half 8-3. The Angry Monkey would make one final effort in the second half. Here Morgan Hibbert cleans up the trash from a Nick Menzies backhand. Furious would pull back within 2 at 14-12, but Ring, coming off 2 lower pool victories, had momentum that could not be stopped. Dave Snoke breaks around, and Thomas Sayers McCord toes it in for the win. 15-12, Ring moves on to the quarterfinals. The other teams to meet in this do-or-die setting here in pre-quarters were East Coast rivals New York Pony and DC Truck Stop. Truck Stop had battled up from the lower pools after losing out on point diff in a 3-way tie in Pool D after going 2-1 on Thursday. They were hoping to end Pony's club championship ride completely after the New York side had already dropped games to Double Wide and Sockeye in Friday's Power Pool play. In Pony's losses, they went down early, so a first-half lead was a promising sign. Former University of Wisconsin teammates hook up here as Pony takes the 8-3 halftime lead. But Truck Stop would stage a huge second-half comeback, and up 14-13, Adam Siegelman in his final club championships hit Sean Keegan to give Pony their 4th straight loss and knock them out of contention. 14-13 Truck Stop. We're here with Brian Stout, captain of Truck Stop out of DC, Baltimore. You guys just came back big against Pony. You were down 8-5, managed to make up the deficit and win 15-13 in pre-quarters. What did you guys adjust to make up the deficit and take the lead?
A couple things. On offense, we switched to a vertical stack and trusted handlers to break the mark so they could throw both to the force side and the break side, open up some space downfield. And defensively, we actually switched to a force middle because they have a couple good huckers and Faust and others. And that allowed us to have our guys downfield start to look to make plays and help each other out.
Excellent. It's definitely worked here. Tomorrow morning, you guys are matched up against Revolver, number 2 seed overall. Revolver has a lot of weapons. How do you plan to kind of neutralize what they do and get the victory?
Revolver's a good team. We've had a good matchup against them in ACC. We know what they're going to bring. They've got some quality athletes. I think we're going to trust some of our downfield defenders to help push guys under, put some pressure on Bart, look at have them take their risks going away on us, and trust that we'll have a better shot on those 50-50 balls than it might happen otherwise. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a great game. It's Nationals, right? Every game is going to be a total battle, and we're looking forward to it.
Saturday morning, Open Division quarterfinal action. Half of the remaining field of 8 teams will be eliminated this round. First up, Austin's Double Wide versus Philly's Southpaw. Interestingly, Southpaw had gotten to quarters with just 2 wins, and those 2 wins were against the original 13 and 15 seeds, Furious George and Mad Cow. Southpaw would keep this game close early. The second half would see Double Wide pull away, DW's William Driscoll pulls down this floaty backhand as Double Wide stays on target with a 15-10 win. On to semifinals. Ironside versus Ring of Fire. Boston's Ironside had faced Raleigh's Ring of Fire in quarters in each of the past 2 years. Both years the results were the same, with Ironside coming out on top 15-11. Ironside has been looking good all tourney long behind strong D-line play, while Ring had to fight through the lower pools and pre-quarters just to get here. Ironside went up early and never looked back. Adam Simon goes free range on the hammer to Jim Foster. 15-8 Ironside. Atlanta's Chain Lightning versus Seattle Sockeye. The defending champions' offense had looked suspect the last 2 days, particularly in the wind, while Sockeye has appeared to relish their recently found underdog role. At the World Championships this summer in Prague, Sockeye beat Chain Lightning in semifinals and were looking to repeat that performance in elimination play here. Sockeye surprised Chain by breaking early and often for an 8-3 halftime lead. Sockey's Moses Rifkin connects on the mid-range forehand to Joe Sefton, and the defending champions are no longer. 15-10 Sockeye. Revolver vs. Truck Stop. Since the club championships began using the Power Pool format in 1999, only one team has ever qualified for semis after going through the pre-quarter finals. Truck Stop was trying to do just that, but the extra round could prove challenging to their depth here on Saturday. Truck Stop went up early, 7-5, but John Levi gets just enough to prevent a Truck Stop goal. Revolver struggled with unforced errors in the first half, but Mac Taylor was shooting straight in the second. He finds a wide-open Tyler Grant as Truck Stop fades in the end. Revolver moves on to semis, 15-9.
So we're here with Alex Gesquer, captain of Revolver from the Bay Area. Just pulled out a win against Truck Stop, 15-9. Alex, you guys had a lot of turnovers in the first half. A lot of them were unforced. How do you address that going into your semifinal game?
Well, it's important to get the jitters out, and it's important not to tense up and get nervous. So we tell the team to relax. We know it's coming. We're going to score up there. Keep faith. Keep working hard. When we punch it in, it's going to be a relief, and it's going to waterfall from there.
I know a lot of players watching this probably want to know that because they're trying to address that for their own teams. You're also upcoming. We got a game against Double Wide. Brody Smith, obviously big name player for them. He's been doing a lot for them. How do you plan to match up with Brody, and how do you plan to address Double Wide as a team?
Brody's a fantastic player, and he's key to their offense. We've got a couple of matchups for him. I think specifically Taylor, Casino, and Mark Sherwood. Those two guys, you're going to see him play Brody all day long. If we can keep Brody from hurting us deep, I think we'll be fine. I think we've got great matchups downfield. We're hopefully going to have him keep the disc behind or for losses mostly, and and really make him make things happen. And if we can put pressure on him downfield, I expect we'll get plenty of turnovers.
The first semifinal featured Boston Ironside and Seattle Sockeye. While Ironside was the clear favorite, having beaten Sockeye 15-10 just 1 day prior, there was no doubt that Sockeye was dangerous. Sockeye had knocked off Ironside in the quarterfinals of the World Championships this summer in Prague and had just eliminated defending champions Chain Lightning in the quarters here. Sockeye's been climbing into windows and snatching discs up, so Ironside was advised to hide their kids and hide their wives. Here, Sockeye's Andrew Fleming gets the goal. But Ironside would own the first half. Boston's Danny Clark hits Jim Foster and then takes off. Foster bombs a forehand as Clark races past all Sockeye defenders. He's all alone for the goal as Ironside is in control at half, up 8-4. But Sockeye comes out strong in the second half, scoring on 0 and getting a break to bring it to 8-6. They get the disc again on the ensuing possession, and Reed Koss tracks down a floaty Nate Castine flick to cut the lead to 1. 8-7, Sockeye on the prowl. The two teams trade to 12-11, and Boston's Adam Simon launches a flick. Castine on Jeff Graham. Castine goes up early, and the contact impacts the catch. Castine doesn't contest the foul. Moments later, when the disc is checked in, Graham connects with Adam Chicken Simon, and Sockeye doesn't contest this foul either. Ironside up late, 13-11. Sockeye's young this year, making their run to semis all the more impressive. Veterans like Mike Caldwell and Ben Wiggins have done an admirable job of developing young talent. Here, veteran Dave Beastock launches a forehand to up-and-comer Spencer Wallace. Wallace lays it out for the two-handed score. This version of Sockeye will be around for a while. You better run and tell that. But Ironside would finish on D as Malachek finds Crockford for the goal and the win. 15-12 Ironside. as Boston escapes to the finals.
Ironside lost to Sockeye at Worlds this year. What did you guys do differently in this game than you did in the quarterfinals at Worlds?
I think there were a lot of things that were different. First of all, personnel. We had having some guys on our D-line that we weren't able to come to Prague, bring pressure, sort of makes the O a little more confident and swagger a little more because we know those guys are going to go produce. And then the second thing we did was our reset just got a lot tighter. And we sort of knew that they got a lot of turns on us in Prague on our dump sets where we couldn't get open at high stalls. And so we repped that. We just repped that all season long, knowing that they bring good handler pressure and we're going to have to be prepared for that because the chances of us not seeing them in a big game is pretty small.
In the second open semifinal, San Francisco Revolver tangled with Austin Doublewide. Doublewide was making their first appearance in the semifinals, having beaten Southpaw in quarters, while Revolver was looking for a second straight appearance in the finals. It's hard to make the jump from quarters to finals, but Doublewide looked to have the firepower to do it. Here, Brody Smith hits Kirk Gibson for the double-wide goal. 3-2, Revolver up early. This game was chock full of athletic, physical players and had exciting, fan-friendly play to match. Jeff Loscorn finds Kirk Gibson in power position. Gibson spies Smith going deep and lays up a forehand. Watch as Mark Sherwood battles with Smith. Smith calls foul and Sherwood doesn't contest, giving Doublewide the disc on the goal line. Brody repays Gibson, tossing the lefty backhand into traffic. Gibson survives and somehow comes up with the disc, tied at 4s. This game was far from a clean turnover-free game, but it was the high-flying nature of the turns that made the game so watchable. Cahill floats up a backhand and Smith goes after it. Revolver's Garcia looks to make a play, but Smith swats it away to give DW a look at their first lead. Smith checks the disc in and goes right back the other way with a backhand to Gibson. Cahill looks to have position, but Gibson goes up and over while Cahill ends up on the ground. What looks to be a clear foul is ruled clean by the observer, and when the disc is checked in, Gibson finds William Driscoll open on Bart Watson for the goal. 5-4 double-wide with the lead. The Brody Smith-Kirk Gibson show isn't 100% all the time. Unless you get the wrong idea, here's the footage to prove it. Mac Taylor forces a Kirk Gibson misread, and Mark Sherwood cleans up on D. Revolver would get the break back to take a second-half lead. Here, a Loscorn misthrow results in a layout block by Revolver's Taylor Casino on Smith. Again, Sherwood is there to clean up. He quickly moves the disc to Tyler Grant, who finds a wide-open Mac Taylor on the hammer. Revolver goes on to win 15-13 and will face Ironside in the finals on Sunday.